What? There's a second part to the tier list and more Minecraft lore on the way? Oh my gosh, losers. Treat yourself. Grab another snack or popcorn or whatever and get ready for more epic tier list action. You won't want to miss these upcoming interviews and daring predictions for how these admins stand. Thank you so much, and continue to watch now! Is Lyoko in the new server, if you've met him. I want to say he built his own like underground base, eventually intentioned for players, but he just mostly fucked around and like bullied players, which is funny. Solid high C, low B, you'll do C. It's looking a little scarce here. Next up, we have number 10, which is Jimmy 2-Inch, aka the secretary of the community manager. Jimmy 2-Inch never played the actual game much, but he was instrumental in assisting Huban, who was our beloved community manager. So that makes him B tier. Continuing this trend is number 11. Let's see. That corresponds with 10 spaces. The literal server icon. He founded his own guild in Wasteslam Original called Cactus Inc. and would exploit the shop system we had involved by selling massive amounts of farmed cactus and becoming one of the richest men alive, as well as the server icon. He interacted with a decent amount of players back in the day. He never was really active after that too much. But again, guy known in real life, server icon, can't really put him anything but S tier if you're the cactus icon. Controversial pick, I know, since he didn't do too much later down the line, but I stand it, okay? Okay. Next would be Ovarb. Ovarb, solid B tier. I think he helped around with a lot of stuff. I know he was working on the current iteration we were doing to build Unatco from Deus Ex. He did a bunch of stuff on the other server, more or less. Good guy. I say he solidly contributed, for sure. Oh, that's invalid. We gotta redo that. Number 10 of this lineup here. Let us see. I know I'm off a little bit on what I actually set as the max number, but if that upsets you, I don't really care. It is Wise Ostrich. Wise Ostrich, he was a pretty decent mod. He didn't really do too much after becoming mod. He was an active enough player though beforehand. Again, he's one of those cases of high C, low B. I'll put him on high C, okay? No hate, like that guy, he seemed nice. And we have 10 players now. I'm off by like 2, whatever, who cares. Number 3 is Danny James. Danny James, again, very beloved player. Everyone kind of loves him. He's built dungeons and stuff for the server before. You know, he's a gem to be around. He's been here since the beginning of 2013. Solid A tier staff member, in my honest opinion, and that makes him, you know, a good A tier lister of the gods.
Interview time. Interview time.
Oh. Hello? Danny? Hey, James.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. If you hear dogs barking, by the way, I'm outside right now.
I don't hear any dogs, so you're good.
Okay.
Okay, so the video we're making is a tier list, but everyone's getting 3 questions. I think 2 are pretty pertinent to like staff tiering, and the last one's kind of just like a more general question about Wasteslam. But if you are ready, I will administrate your interview right now, Mr. James.
Of course. That sounds great.
Okay. Your first question. So on this tier list, it goes. There's like 5 tiers. It goes S as really good. A is very good. Or A is like good. B is like good enough. C is like you pass. You're like a mid-tier admin. You kind of just fucked around, did nothing. And then D is like you actively did damage to the server. Who would you say? Who would you rate? Like, what's one person you would rate as a D tier admin?
Probably, what was his name? Ghost of 208 or something?
Oh, yes. I know who you mean. That's exactly his name.
Okay.
Second question. Are there any staff members who surprised you with their abilities/actions?
Uh, you mean like how well they did?
Yeah, it was, anything that was like off the cuffs of who you thought they were.
Oh, uh, I'm trying to think. Hmm. Maybe I probably either Cuban or Buff the Puff.
That's fair enough. And then, finally, since you're an original Wasteslammer from the 2013 era, do you have a favorite
Yes.
memory from the 2013 era?
Oh God. uh, there's a lot of shit that happened back then. I'm trying to think though. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. So, towards the end of that server's life, when we were going to be switching to the new map, what was it? Cyan did a contest where if you could guess how much FPS he had, he would fill your inventory with diamonds.
Oh,
And I managed to guess right, and it deleted all of my items that I had. So I complained, and he changed them to diamond blocks.
that sounds about right. That sounds about right. That's how I remember that server working.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, thank you for your interview today. I really appreciate it. I like these answers a lot, actually.
Of course.
I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming in on this little tier list project.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I'm gonna head out and do another interview, but I wish you a very good night.
You too?
The gods. Leaving us at 9 players. Let's re-roll that. To Red 2. Actually, Red 2 built the entire Ultra dungeon, which is fucking insane. And a bunch of other dungeons and contributed to certain cities. Also building his own loot pool. He was very big in the Wasteslam 2019 and in the fantasy version. So obviously A tier, has done a lot for the server. I would be wrong to put him any lower.
Interview time. Interview time. Bam, bam, bam.
Start when you're ready.
Alright, Mr. Red 2, are you ready for your interview?
Yeah, let's do it, James.
Okay, so your first question of the 3 is, of the staff members you didn't know in real life, who became your favorite?
Of the ones I didn't know?
Yes.
I mean, I think I did know everybody in real life, unless we're thinking, what does staff member entail?
It could be moderator. I would even say you could go player, but I was thinking more specific to staff because I had a player question for someone else.
Okay. Well, I was thinking just like all the admins were basically our friend group, but I mean, of the other people we eventually gave power to, I can only think of Surtees, Danny James, and Zuper. And then your question was, which is your favorite?
That's fair. I guess you could go all players.
All players? I mean, I can still really only think of those 3 as far as specific names.
Okay. Of those 3 then.
Danny James is my favorite.
There we go.
No
Fair
question.
enough. And then, are there, of all the staff members, is there anyone who you were particularly surprised about with their actions?
Surprised about?
Yeah.
I mean, Houston was the god, or Cuban was the god of chaos, basically. But, I was surprised that Jack didn't do more.
That's very true.
I was surprised that Brilliant Blue didn't do more.
Yeah.
He did a lot for the start of like the Chicago thing and some of the cities in the first one I was a part of, and then on the second one he kind of had like a meteorite island, and that was it.
Yeah. Then the final question for you is, what is your favorite thing you built or accomplished?
Yeah, that's tough, because then my favorite thing I built was the like cathedral, an island to like the St. Luke like faction,
Right.
but then it was destroyed. So my favorite thing that like stuck was probably the forest city, because I thought some of the like the idea of building like a dungeon thing in the forest was interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I was definitely like one of the coolest things we had on that server by far. And then just any closing remarks?
No, it was a lot of fun, a lot of good memories. Thanks for setting it up for us.
Oh, no problem. Well, thank you, Mr. Red 2, for the interview.
Cheers, Japes.
Cheers! Number 5, we have Mr. Canadian, another C-tier admin that didn't do too much. Big friends of XPoo Miner and Daredevil, our Canadian trio that was on the original server. I think he mostly fucked around. He might have built a few things, but if I'm not remembering them, it probably wasn't too much, to be quite honest. Next, we have number 6, which is Surtees, corresponding to this gentleman guy. He would be a low S tier or an A tier. He has built a lot of shit, very much interacted with systems. I feel like it'd be wrong to deprive him of the S tier listing, unless, you know, I don't know. Like, he did do some underground shit when he was a player to, like, you know, go behind me, but so did, like, everyone. So, whatever. Let's not dwell on that. Next would be number 6. Let's re-roll. I don't want to get continuing the same shit. Would be Cyanide 7 or Brilliant Blue later down the line. He was, again, friend guy I know in real life. He became friends on Wasteslam with Kate Cole, Miss Leroy Jenkins the first, and Air Support 11. And he did a lot in the OG Wasteslam, and then in the later versions he promised a bunch of big things and never did them. So I'd say an OG Wasteslam A tier, later down on the line overall B tier. And he also got Kate Cole to be an admin who obviously destroyed the first season. So yikers, bro. B tier admin.
Interview time. Interview time. Bam, bam, bam.
Admin.
The problem is with this, if we're gonna do this, I'm gonna need like a list of the admins.
No, it's better than it's raw.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Sure.
Okay. So everyone gets 3 questions, and I pre-prepared questions for all the interviews, kind of at random. Okay, so question 1 for you, Mr. Cyanide 7, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, no longer. Now he's Brilliant Blue or Gussy Gaming or Destiny Gamer. It depends on how you want to call him. But your first question is, of the original Wasteslam staff members, so from the 2013 server, who do you think who least deserved any form of power?
Least deserved any form of power.
Yes. Could be a mod or an admin or a builder.
Yeah, mod or an admin. I'm gonna have to go. I think my heart immediately tells me to go with Arel.
Arel? Yeah.
Yeah, XPoo Miner.
XPoo Miner 5, yeah.
He was a critical part of the chaos of it all. But at the same time, he did nothing of value.
So true.
The entire time.
True. What is something you wish could have been implemented in any version of Wasteslam?
Something I think if we had taken the time to get a gun texture pack working in the original Wasteslam,
yeah,
things would have gone. That would have been really cool.
We just didn't have.
We tried so many times, but we were all children.
We didn't have the technology. It just didn't exist at the time.
Yeah.
And then who was or is your favorite player?
who was my favorite player. So a non-staff member player.
Anyone in general, actually, is fine.
Anyone in general.
They could be
I mean,
becoming staff.
I mean the Cactus Inc. arc was hilarious. I don't know. They need to speak. I need to get good answers. Yeah. Man, there was one player early on. It was the first guy who had a really big underground base. It was the first guy who really like gave that server the identity. I'm really struggling with his name though. Was it Toffee?
That sounds familiar.
I think it might have been him. Just this guy was. He was from another timeline. That or Danny James.
That or Danny James. Everyone loves Danny James. I just interviewed Danny James actually.
Incredible player. Incredible player.
He is. He's a character in all of our hearts. Well, Mr. Cyanide 7, thank you so much. Everyone gets 3 questions. So thank you for your time. Do you have any closing remark?
Any closing remark? Somebody should have told me I was really not that good at building. My cities were ugly.
I'm sorry, baby girl. But thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Admin. Number 4 is Rabbit Spud. Know her in real life. She said she'd write lore for the server and never did. Sorry, Abby. Didn't do shit. B tier. Number 2 is Great Sean. Great Sean built shit for the server, but he also says a bunch of gamer words in the Discord and is kind of just, unpleasant. So he wasn't worth keeping on his staff, so I eventually banned him from the Discord. He also said a bunch of sus shit that I don't want to, be representing the server too much. Even though, people say sus shit, but it's not his tier stuff, which is just edgelord stuff. So, yeah, I'd say D tier. Great Sean, kind of, bit of a goober. What can I say? Number 1, Agamemnon. Agamemnon, brother of Bobbit Frogget. He did build some dungeons and shit. Did build his own big town in Wasteslam Fantasy. I don't know if he did too much other than just vibe and play the game. Other than that, but solid B tier admin. Only have good things to say about him. Then we have 2 left. Number 2 is Zuper, the person who requested the list itself. Zuper and me have a checkered history. We've gone back and forth. I like Zuper overall. He's a little annoying at times, but he's also I think he's a good guy overall. He's just he's made me mauled. He's made me proud. He's all over. He did deceive Hubert by building an alt and infiltrating Hubin's island and stealing a ton of shit from him by making him spawn him in a helicopter, which is pretty funny and based. B tier. Just for being, controversial at times, but also contributing pretty greatly, I'd say. And then the last
Interview time. Interview time. Bam, bam, bam.
And Mr. Zuper? Are you...
Howdy.
Hello there. Are you ready for your interview?
Hell yeah, I am.
Okay. So everyone gets 3 questions. So your first question, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to dive right in, off the deep dive. So the tier system we're using for this video, it's stock standard. It goes D is like you're a bad staff member. C is like you're the stock standard average of doing fucking nothing. B is like you did some decent stuff. You're not great, but you're good. A is you're good for sure, and then S is like you're above and beyond. My question for you, Zuper, would be, who would you say is either one person who's an S tier staff member, or who would you put in that category?
Oh, it's gotta be Hubin of all people.
Oh my god. Really?
He sets the standard for everyone.
I suppose. Any others other than Hubin?
Yeah. Let me see, I'm just going to scroll through my Discord real quick.
Okay.
Danny for sure.
Okay.
And a Warlord retard. Yeah, those 3.
For sure, Warlord
Those
retard.
are my top tiers right there.
Question 2 for you, Mr. Zuper, is Are there any staff members that you would say are decidedly mid-tier? Like they would be like in that C, maybe B range? Like they did kind of like, who would you say did the most fuck all, but was kind of there passively a lot?
Surtees.
Surtees? Surtees did fuck
100%.
all?
Yeah.
It's a hot take, Super.
Yeah.
I'll give you that much. And then, for the final question, it's a little bit less about like staff members for most of these interviews. I'm gonna ask you, since you're more of the Wasteslam 2019 generation, in any of the iterations you've played, what was your favorite? What was your favorite moment in the server?
Probably when Cuban found out that I was Iron,
Oh yeah,
because that's when I kind of earned everybody's respect.
that was pretty
It was
epic.
3 years of build up, but yeah, and the villain Walgreens with boats.
That was a good
That
prank
was
too.
also pretty good.
Okay, I'm also gonna give you, if you'd like to make any sort of closing remarks for your interview as well.
As soon as I got promoted, I fell into the Wasteland admin trope of never playing again.
Freaking base. That's what it's all about, baby. All right, Super. Thank you so
Oh,
much
yeah.
for joining me for this interview. I wish you well.
All right.
Now I just gotta do like
All
2
right, I
more.
love you.
Too, Zoopy. Be good. Live long.
All
Prosper.
right. Bye.
Bye. And then the last remaining guy is this dude who's I met on Xbox Live forever ago from West Virginia. The admins bully him for being a redneck, especially X-Poo Miner 5, who built an entire racetrack in his hometown of Charleston, West Virginia, because redneck like NASCAR, and harassed him until he stopped joining the server. So I'm sorry, we were 15 at the time. It was pretty funny to harass like probably a 12-year-old when we were 15. I wouldn't do it too much today, especially to that degree. But I can't say he's a B tier admin considering he didn't do too much other than get bullied. And that's really it. I might edit more in or less depending on how I feel, but I'd say this is a good lineup and a good base for this video. Well, Galoosers, there you have it. I'd like to extend a formal thank you to all former Wasteslam staff members who made it out to the interview and all who were interested. I was going to do only 5 interviews, but I crammed 6 in there. That's still a lot. Crazy tier list of big revelations. Again, no hate depending on your tier. I was just being as objective as I could be, even though, sometimes I was being a little subjective, but come on now. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this content. Goodbye. Have a beautiful day, and big kisses. Good night.